My name is Margaret Ann Windsor, and I have to go by the name of Peggy Ann Dempsey. I'm married to Childers. I was kidnapped in 1941 at age 2 from Buckingham Palace and brought to Moulton, Alabama, and given the name of a twin, Peggy Ann Dempsey, and Carl, the twin, were both dead. So I won't go into that. I have on other videos and who my parents are and all that. I wrote a book, and I've put this up too, back in 75 till April Fool Day of 80. And I had a letter from U.S. Attorney William Harper, dated June the 23rd of 79. And April Fool Day, I almost died. It was a miracle I didn't. And I put that up the best I could. So what I really wanted to focus on right now was the fact that I did a medical malpractice book. I had worked for doctors, and it was on mind control in cases of medical malpractice. Larry McDonald, U.S. Congressman, doctor from Piedmont Hospital in Atlanta, I lived in Marietta, was one of the cases I wrote about. And Warren and Rosina Matthews, they were forensic pathologists that worked at Piedmont Hospital. And they, along with Gene Srokerman, who worked in a psychiatrist, what was his name? Hartley? Can't remember his name now. But my attorney gave me that file, and she was shot on Christmas Eve there. She had a medical malpractice against a psychiatrist, and she'd gone to work for William, what was his name? I can't remember. But it was Piedmont Hospital. It was about 1976 she was shot on Christmas Eve and killed. Anyway, what I wanted to say was the book I wrote, Larry Flint was shot in Lawrenceville, Georgia, south of Atlanta, of Marietta, and the person that shot his attorney and killed him and shot Mr. Flint was programmed. And mind control has nothing, it's a weapon that can be used as well as a weapon for murder. And it's limitless in what it can do when you program a person, and now they can program armies. So Snowden only touched the tip of the iceberg in what's really going on. He did his best, and people hated him for it. He had to leave the country. So you can imagine what they've done to me here. I was writing about mind control murders. Wayne Williams was one of them, and now then they come out on TV, on CNN, and tell about him being schooled by the CIA there in Atlanta prior to those murders. I was doing the book. So the murders happened in 79, 78, 79. And his attorney, I spoke with her, very welcome, and I was afraid she wouldn't believe me, and she said, I do believe you. She was going to send her attorney to get a deposition, and then they almost wiped me out again. I was in Huntsville, and she was removed as his attorney, and a CIA, supposed to be retired, and his last name was Marcus, I can't remember. He took over the trial. So it wasn't because he was Wayne Williams was black. Black fits into the codes and patterns, and it means black means death in this. So it wasn't because Wayne Williams was black or the kids were black that they focused on their color and race. But that's getting a little bit away. You should read the list, though, if anybody can still get a copy of it. They charged Chet Detlinger with the murders. He was a retired FBI. And the book, he helped write the book with someone else, The List. And this is when they were killing me. And I was transported illegally across the state line. And what they'd done to me, I passed a background check with Sheriff Patterson. This is NASA, by the way, there. And Redstone Arsenal and ballistic missile, all this is there. So I worked for him, and that's when, in 1980, and that's when John Lennon was shot by Martin David Chapman and killed. And he was programmed to shoot him and kill a very decent man. I just wanted to focus, though, because of what's just happened. I've been putting videos up, and it backfires. People really just want me dead, or to leave or run me. The media certainly knows it, not just here. They know it. They knew it before I started telling it. I went to, during the Hinckley trial, or just before his trial, I went up there. And people already knew it. Part of it is using mind control as a weapon. It has nothing to do with mental illness, but if you see how people are running and buying it all now, what's being told them, they can't wait to get their kids to a psychiatrist. When mental illness has nothing to do with mind-controlling programming, you can Google mind control now. You couldn't back when I was writing about it. One of the doctors I worked for had put a chip in a heart bypass, and he was chairman. The man was chairman of a board down there, and you can control a person's decision making, etc. But you can do anything with it. With mind control, there was a Bonnie Sailor came to me. Her husband worked at Redstone Arsenal. He had top security, and she came to me. She said, "I heard you work for the district attorney," and I said, "I do." My God, I'd had all this done to me, and I was told not to talk about it, so she was coming to the wrong person. I would have tried, and I did, but I got nowhere. She said her husband had top security, and he and two others that were were put under investigation that worked in the same lab out there at Redstone. I believe she said Redstone. It was for the Space Administration. And she said they were ready to retire. I said that. Her husband, she went home and found him in a bathtub with a rifle, and I don't know how he put the where to on that, but he had blown himself to bits supposedly. And then the other ran his car into the Tennessee River and drowned, and the other developed rare cancer almost overnight and died. So I'll leave it at that, because James Holmes murders, this is a Fort Hood man. He was born in Vinton, Roanoke. He finished college at Virginia Tech, and that's where the mass shootings happened April the 16th of '07. And by the way, in a lot of these, they're programmed like this young fellow that killed his mother. Can you imagine? This mother's dead. This son's dead now because he was programmed to shoot himself, as the Virginia Tech, and a lot of them are. So there's no trial. They shoot themselves. They're programmed to. I want to get back to this one. This is Gabby Gifford, and she was recently here in Roanoke, I believe, and she's for gun control. This has nothing to do with gun control, with guns, the knife, and this is where I wanted to get to before this goes out. Timothy McVey and the Oklahoma City bombing. He told everybody he had a chip in him. The military put it up his rear. He died. He was put to death. And I wanted to go real quick to this. It just happened in Oklahoma City, the car that plowed into the parade there. At Oklahoma, the college. I'm trying to hurry and get this on. And like I say, she can be programmed, and I'm not saying she was, but I can just about be sure with all this. I don't have names or anything that link it, but she can be programmed to drink liquor and programmed where to run the car in and kill the people, or they're hurt anyway. So this is just more of the same thing, like to use a butcher knife, or they can mass an army to kill. So it's a little bit like I referred to it a while ago, like you can't, geez, I've got, it's a little bit like it's invisible. So it's hard to prove. And the ones I've told about have been done in patterns, and you can prove them. You can program someone to go out and rape and kill somebody, and they pay for the crime. And so I wonder how many innocent people are